people's princess is dead across the country, across the world.
I think when you are bereaved at a very young age, anytime really, but particularly at a young age, I can resonate closely to that. You feel pain like no other pain, and you know that in your life it's going to be very difficult to come across something that's going to be even worse pain than that.
The story of Princess Diana's death is one that touched millions of hearts around the world. Her tragic passing in 1997 left an indelible mark not just on the royal family, but on the public as well. Her two sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, were at the center of this tragedy, and they experienced grief in ways few can truly understand. But for years, Prince William has remained notably silent about his mother's death, choosing not to publicly discuss his feelings or the impact it had on him. This silence has intrigued many people, sparking questions about why he chooses not to openly share his emotions regarding such a pivotal moment in his life. William's grief journey. The death of Princess Diana in 1997 left an indelible mark on the royal family, particularly on her two young sons, William and Harry. At just 15 years old, William found himself in an impossible position. His world had been shattered, yet he was still expected to fulfill his duties as a royal. Grief, for William, couldn't simply be dealt with in private. It had to coexist with the very public role he played as the future king. One of the most striking moments of this struggle came during his mother's funeral. The world watched in shock as William, along with his younger brother Harry, walked behind Diana's coffin during the procession. This was a public display of mourning like no other. For the young princes, it was a deeply emotional moment that required them to put on a brave face and fulfill a royal duty. Imagine the weight on their shoulders, grieving the loss of their mother while knowing millions of people were watching, their every step scrutinized by the press. For William, this wasn't just a royal duty. It was a moment that forced him to balance his personal grief with the expectations placed on him as the future monarch. As he walked behind the coffin, there were mixed emotions: sorrow, anger, and perhaps a deep sense of duty to his mother's memory. While the world mourned Diana, for William, this was a personal, raw experience that few could truly understand. Over the years, William has rarely spoken about his grief in public. However, when he has shared his feelings, it's been an emotional experience for both him and his audience. In a 2017 BBC documentary marking 20 years since his mother's death, William opened up about the confusion and pain he felt during those early days of grief. He described how, at the time, he couldn't fully process what had happened. Like many who experience sudden loss, William was left questioning why this had to happen to him and his family. "I remember just feeling completely numb, disorientated, dizzy," William said in the documentary. For a young boy of 15, the loss of his mother in such a violent and sudden manner was almost too much to comprehend. The emotional confusion he felt then was something that stayed with him for years as he struggled to make sense of the pain. It was clear that, for William, the grief wasn't something that could easily be explained or understood in words. It was a process, one that would take years to unravel. This deep emotional conflict continued for years as William tried to navigate life as both a grieving son and a future king. In interviews, he has often mentioned how difficult it was to reconcile the private side of his emotions with the public role he was expected to play. There's a powerful contrast in these reflections. On one hand, he was a young man mourning the loss of his mother, and on the other, he was part of the royal family, expected to uphold the dignity and traditions of his position. The tension between these two sides of his life was undoubtedly overwhelming at times. Despite the public nature of his life, Prince William has always emphasized the importance of privacy in his grief journey. In fact, he has often spoken about how critical it was for him to have space away from the media and public attention during those early days after Diana's death. Obviously, back then, we didn't have smartphones or constant media coverage. We were fortunate to have the privacy to mourn, to collect our thoughts, and to have that space away from everybody, William said in the 2017 BBC documentary. This privacy, granted by the royal family, was a rare gift. It allowed William to process his emotions without the added pressure of being in the public eye. In many ways, it gave him the chance to just be a boy who had lost his mother, rather than a royal figure who was expected to be strong for the public. This sanctuary was invaluable as he navigated the complexities of grief, away from the constant scrutiny of the media and the royal duties that often left him little time for himself. William has mentioned that the role of his grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, in helping shield him from the overwhelming media coverage during this time was crucial. In one interview, he recalled how his grandmother made an effort to protect him and Harry from seeing the intense media frenzy surrounding their mother's death. It was a tough decision for the Queen, balancing her responsibilities as monarch with her love and care for her grandchildren, but it was one that gave William and Harry a chance to mourn privately. Another aspect of William's grief journey that he shared with the public is how he found solace in nature, especially in the Scottish outdoors. After hearing the devastating news of his mother's passing, William was at Balmoral Castle, the royal family's residence in Scotland. In a speech many years later, William spoke about how the Scottish countryside offered him a sense of peace and refuge during those dark days. The service at Crathie Kirk that very morning, and in the dark days that followed, I found comfort and solace in the Scottish outdoors, William reflected. The beauty of the Scottish landscape provided him with an emotional escape, a place where he could process his feelings in peace, away from the chaos of royal duties and the media frenzy. For William, the hills and forests of Scotland became more than just a backdrop for his grief. They became a sanctuary, a place where he could feel a little closer to his mother and a little further from the overwhelming sadness that clouded his life at the time. This connection to Scotland remains significant for William even today. As an adult, he continues to speak fondly of the country, acknowledging that it holds both some of his happiest memories and some of his saddest. It was in Scotland that he first met his wife, Kate Middleton, and it remains a place where he and his family retreat for both joy and reflection. But the bond that William feels to Scotland, especially in the wake of his mother's death, is undeniable. The outdoor spaces offered him a break from the demands of royal life and gave him a safe place to process his grief. Changing narrative. Over time. For most of Prince William's life, the public rarely heard him speak about the tragic death of his mother, Princess Diana. His reluctance to address such a personal and painful loss became one of the mysteries of his royal life. Why did the heir to the British throne, often seen as open and approachable, choose to stay quiet about the death of the woman who had shaped much of his early years? For years, this silence sparked much speculation and curiosity among royal watchers and the general public. What was really going on behind closed doors? In the years following Diana's tragic passing in 1997, William, then just 15 years old, seemed to bury his emotions. Like many people who experience such an overwhelming loss at a young age, he was left to grapple with grief in a deeply private way. The media, in particular, was eager for any hint of what the prince might say about his mother's death. But William, who was just stepping into the role of a young royal, had other priorities. His focus, understandably, was on dealing with his grief in private. In the early years, his silence could have been attributed to a combination of personal choice and the nature of the royal family's approach to public life. The royal family, historically, has not been known for openly discussing personal emotions or grief. The Windsors, often seen as the epitome of stoicism, maintained a strong sense of duty, which meant that personal suffering was rarely displayed for public consumption. For William, this cultural expectation likely added to the weight of his grief. How could he speak openly about his mother when there were so many royal duties to attend to, and so many eyes watching him? However, as time passed, something began to shift. It's important to understand that Prince William, like many others who experience intense grief, likely found that bottling up emotions and avoiding the topic of his mother's death was not sustainable in the long term. And while he may not have been ready to open up immediately after Diana's death, it was clear that the pain of losing her would not simply fade away. It wasn't until much later that William began to speak more openly about his loss, showing a vulnerability that, in many ways, marked a significant departure from the usual royal behavior. It's important to highlight how, over time, William began to understand that sharing his grief wasn't a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. Slowly, but surely, he began to break his silence in public forums, making it clear that the boy who once kept his emotions hidden was now ready to talk about the pain he had carried for so many years. One of the most notable moments of this shift came when William joined his brother Harry in 2017 for a BBC documentary called Diana, 7 Days. This was a landmark moment because, for the first time, the two brothers were able to speak openly about their mother's death and the grief they had experienced in the years since. In the documentary, William admitted that he still struggled with the pain of her loss, revealing that even as an adult, the emotional scars remained. He also acknowledged how his mother's death had affected him in more profound ways than he had been able to express before. This was not the typical stoic royal response we were accustomed to seeing. It was raw, honest, and incredibly moving. But perhaps the most significant change in William's approach to discussing his grief came through his active involvement in mental health advocacy. In 2016, Prince William, along with his wife, Kate Middleton, and his brother Harry, launched the Heads Together campaign, a groundbreaking initiative aimed at promoting mental health awareness and encouraging open conversations about mental well-being. The campaign's core message was clear. It's okay to talk about your feelings, especially when you're going through tough times. For William, Heads Together represented more than just a charitable cause. It became an outlet for him to channel his own experiences of loss, grief, and mental health challenges into something positive. His decision to speak out about his own struggles, particularly his battle with grief after losing Diana, served as an inspiration to many. It also sent a powerful message to others who were silently suffering from their own mental health challenges. If the Duke of Cambridge, a member of the royal family, could talk about his emotions, then surely others could too. Through the Heads Together campaign, William made it clear that mental health was not a subject to be avoided or swept under the rug. He spoke about the importance of mental health care, particularly for men, who often feel societal pressure to hide their emotions and act tough. As part of the campaign, William, Harry, and Kate engaged in open discussions with mental health professionals and those who had personally experienced mental health challenges, offering both a platform for discussion and a sense of solidarity. William's personal involvement in Heads Together has undoubtedly helped shift the narrative around mental health within the royal family and beyond. He shared his experiences with the public, including how he had struggled with his emotions in the aftermath of Diana's death. He admitted that, for many years, he didn't allow himself to process his feelings properly. This, he explained, led to long periods of stress and anxiety, which is not uncommon for those who experience a deep and unresolved loss. In the years since, William has continued to be a vocal advocate for mental health, speaking candidly about the importance of dealing with grief in a healthy and constructive way. His openness about his own struggles has been a powerful example for others, especially for men who may feel societal pressure not to express vulnerability. By sharing his own grief journey, William has helped make the topic of mental health more approachable and less stigmatized, and in doing so, he has set an example for countless individuals who are navigating their own emotional challenges. William's evolving narrative, from silence to openness, has shown the world that it is okay to face difficult emotions and share them with others. He has gradually broken down the barriers that once kept him silent about his mother's death, showing that even someone in his position is not immune to the complexities of grief and loss. It is a journey that many can relate to, whether they are public figures or private individuals. William's decision to share his grief publicly is a reflection of the changing attitudes toward mental health and emotional well-being in society. What once was considered a private matter is now being discussed openly, thanks in no small part to William's efforts to break the stigma surrounding mental health. By opening up about his own experience, William has not only honored the memory of his mother, Princess Diana, but he has also given others the courage to confront their own emotional pain and find healing in the process. As we look to the future, William's ongoing work in mental health advocacy will undoubtedly continue to inspire others to share their stories and seek help when needed. Through his example, he has shown that while grief is a deeply personal journey, it's also a shared experience that connects us all. And in that shared experience, there is hope, healing, and strength. Insights into William's silence. Prince William's silence on the death of his mother, Princess Diana, has long been a subject of intrigue and speculation. While it's easy to assume that his quietness stems from simply being a private person, the reality is much deeper. There are multiple reasons behind why William has chosen not to openly discuss such a tragic event in his life. His silence isn't just about keeping personal emotions hidden. It's also about a mix of personal emotional considerations, strategic image management, and a deep respect for how grief affects individuals in unique ways. First and foremost, Prince William's decision to maintain privacy can be traced back to personal emotional reasons. The death of a parent, especially at a young age, is an overwhelming experience. William was just 15 when his mother passed away, and the emotional toll it took on him was immense. It's entirely understandable that, after such a traumatic event, he would feel the need to guard his emotions and avoid exposing them publicly. Grief, particularly when it involves the loss of someone as beloved as Princess Diana, is something that can't easily be shared in the public eye, especially when it's accompanied by the scrutiny and pressure that comes with being a member of the royal family. As William himself has expressed in various interviews, the initial shock left him feeling confused and disoriented, not knowing how to process such deep sorrow. For many people in similar situations, it's a natural instinct to retreat into privacy during such an emotionally charged time, and William's decision to do so was likely driven by the need to protect his emotional well-being. At the same time, Prince William's silence can also be seen as part of the royal family's strategy when it comes to managing their public image. The royal family has always been under intense public scrutiny, and their personal lives are often viewed through the lens of duty and tradition. By remaining somewhat private about his grief, William was, perhaps unconsciously, aligning with the royal tradition of keeping personal matters out of the public spotlight. Royals have long been expected to maintain a composed and controlled image, even in the face of tragedy. In the case of Diana's death, while the public mourned with the family, there was also an expectation that William, as the future king, would remain strong and dutiful. Public displays of grief were complicated by his royal status, and the family often finds itself in the delicate balance between showing emotion and fulfilling their royal roles. This sense of duty likely influenced William's decision to stay silent, at least publicly, as he navigated the immense personal loss while fulfilling his responsibilities. However, there is another layer to his silence: respect for the grieving process. Grief is not a one-size-fits-all experience. It affects people in different ways, and no two people cope with loss the same way. For Prince William, grieving his mother was undoubtedly a personal and private journey. He has been open about how difficult it was to find comfort in such a painful time, but he also emphasized how important it was for him to deal with his emotions on his own terms. This respect for personal grief is something that many can relate to, regardless of their status. People who go through profound loss often find solace in solitude or in other ways that may not be visible to the public eye. William's choice to not discuss his mother's passing immediately, or to do so selectively, highlights the understanding that grieving is something deeply personal. It's not something that can always be shared, especially when the world is watching. William's approach to grief, especially over the years, has been more about quietly honoring his mother's memory and legacy, rather than dwelling on the pain. He has started to speak about her death more openly in recent years, especially through his work with mental health initiatives like Heads Together. This shift has allowed him to frame his grief in a way that could help others who are struggling with loss, making it a way to connect rather than to publicly mourn. In doing so, he has gradually opened up about his emotions, but in a way that feels right for him, slowly and on his own terms. This speaks to a larger point about the royal family's evolving attitude toward mental health and emotions, with William becoming more of an advocate for others who may be grieving in silence, just as he did. The bottom line is that Prince William's silence about his mother's death should not be seen as indifference or avoidance. Instead, it reflects a complex mix of emotional protection, royal duty, and respect for the unique ways people grieve. It's a reminder that grief is not something that can always be shared in a public space. It's deeply personal and varies greatly from person to person. As time has passed, William and Harry would continue to carry the weight of their mother's death with them. For William, his grief was something he buried deep within himself for a long time. As a teenager, he felt the pressure to be strong and composed, both for his family and for the public. His duty as a future king meant that he couldn't afford to let his emotions take over. It was only much later, as an adult, that he began to open up more about his grief and the impact it had on him. The royal family's response to Diana's death was shaped by a complex mixture of personal grief and public duty. While the Queen's efforts to protect William and Harry were crucial during the early days, it was clear that there was no easy way for the young princes to process such a monumental loss. The experience of grief, especially for someone as young as William, is never linear. It is a journey that is personal, sometimes private, and often difficult to navigate. And for William, as he later acknowledged, it would be a long time before he could fully process the depth of his loss and what it meant for his life moving forward. Now, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Prince William's silence was the best way to cope with his grief? Or do you believe he should have spoken more openly about it? Drop a comment below to share your perspective. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might find this story just as captivating. Be sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss out on more royal insights. Prince William's relationship with Kate Middleton's parents has always been warm, but recent events have brought unexpected twists to their bond. From defending Carol Middleton against harsh criticism to finding a mother figure in her, William's connection with his in-laws has evolved over the years. However, as family dynamics shift, including Catherine's health challenges and growing tensions with King Charles III, the future king's reliance on the Middletons has taken center stage, shaping his personal and royal life like never before. Prince William defended Carol Middleton against classist criticism. Prince William's bond with his in-laws, Carol and Michael Middleton, has always been strong, but it was truly tested when Carol became the target of classist attacks during his early relationship with Catherine Middleton. Carol Middleton, who came from a working-class family and grew up in public housing, was observed by the media and members of William's inner circle for her background. Critics labeled her as unrefined and unsuitable painting. Her training was improper for someone tied to the royal family. These attacks reportedly irritated William, who saw them as an unfair smear campaign against Catherine's family. A source close to the prince revealed that William was horrified by the comments circulating about Carol. He believed they were rooted in pride and mischief-making, dismissing them as unnecessary and deeply hurtful. His protective nature came to the apex, and he made it clear that he wouldn't tolerate any disrespect toward the Middletons. At the time, William and Catherine's relationship faced additional challenges, including a temporary breakup in 2007, while some speculated that outside pressures, including the classist remarks about Carol, played a role in the split. William's loyalty to the Middletons never wavered. He refused to let public opinion or exclusive expectations dictate his relationship, standing by them as a family unit. Carol's resilience in the face of such criticism also strengthened her bond with William. Despite the judgment she faced, Carol remained a constant source of support for both William and Catherine, offering them a sense of normalcy and stability. Her role as a nurturing figure in William's life deepened his admiration for her, particularly after the loss of his own mother, Princess Diana. William's defense of Carol Middleton wasn't just about protecting his in-laws, and it was a reflection of his values. His actions demonstrated his rejection of outdated classist views and his commitment to standing up for those he loves and cementing the Middletons as an integral part of his life. Carol Middleton's secret meeting with William led to his proposal. Behind the fairy tale romance of Prince William and Catherine Middleton lies a pivotal moment involving Carol Middleton and Catherine's mother that helped shape their future as a royal couple. In 2009, after years of dating and public analysis, Carol reportedly grew concerned that William had yet to propose to her daughter. Catherine, often dubbed Weighty Katie by the press, was in an uncertain position and unable to move forward with her life, due to the intense public attention on her relationship with the prince. Carol, a smart and practical woman, decided to take matters into her own hands. According to royal expert Katie Nicholl, Carol held a private meeting with William to voice her concerns. She expressed her worry that Catherine's life had effectively been put on hold and delicately encouraged William to consider making things official. Though a bold move, Carol's words clearly resonated with William. At the time, William was training with the Royal Air Force, RAF, and was deeply focused on his military career. However, Carol's heartfelt plea appeared to push him to reflect on his commitment to Catherine. By the end of 2009, William reportedly assured Carol that he planned to propose once his RAF training was complete. In October 2010, during a romantic trip to Kenya, William finally asked Catherine to marry him and presented her with his late mother, Princess Diana's sapphire engagement ring. Interestingly, William broke with tradition by proposing to Catherine first before asking Michael Middleton and her father for permission. He later joked that he wanted to ensure Catherine said yes before seeking her father's approval. This sequence of events highlighted William's deep respect for Catherine and her family, along with his growing bond with the Middletons. Carol's quiet intervention demonstrated her protective nature as a mother and her commitment to her daughter's happiness. It also underscored the unique dynamic she has with William, a relationship built on trust, mutual respect, and a shared love for Catherine. This moment not only secured Catherine's place in the royal family, but also cemented the Middletons as a cornerstone of William's personal life. William's close bond with the Middletons annoys King Charles III. Prince William's close relationship with his in-laws, Carol and Michael Middleton, has been a source of joy for him, but a point of tension with his father, King Charles III. Since marrying Catherine Middleton, William has developed a strong bond with the Middleton family, often seeking their companionship and support in ways that have reportedly made Charles feel sidelined. This unique dynamic has reshaped William's personal life, but has also shaken up frustrations within the royal family. One of the key points of contention has been William's preference for spending holidays with the Middletons rather than the royal family. On several occasions, William has chosen to celebrate Christmas with Catherine's family, enjoying their relaxed and warm atmosphere instead of the rigid protocols at Sandringham. This decision reportedly upset Charles, who felt excluded and distanced from his grandchildren Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Charles, who once held the role of family patriarch, struggled with the idea that Carol and Michael were becoming more influential in William's life. Adding to the tension is William's habit of referring to Michael Middleton as Dad. While this gesture reflects the deep bond William shares with his father-in-law, it has reportedly left Charles feeling hurt and overshadowed. According to royal insiders, Charles has often felt that the Middletons have taken over key family moments, leaving him on the sidelines. Despite the friction, William values the Middletons' down-to-earth nature and the sense of normalcy they bring to his life. Having grown up in the royal spotlight, William has found comfort in their grounded and close-knit family dynamic. He has even credited Carol and Michael for influencing his parenting style, helping him raise his children with a sense of balance and relatability. While the bond between William and the Middletons continues to grow, the tension with King Charles highlights the challenges of blending two very different families. For William, his in-laws provide the stability and warmth he has long craved, even if it occasionally disrupts royal traditions. Middletons became a source of stability amid royal turmoil. In the chaos of royal life, Carol and Michael Middleton have become a pillar of stability for Prince William, offering him the kind of family dynamic he longed for, but rarely experienced. Over the years, their grounded, warm, and close-knit nature has provided William with solace, particularly during moments of royal turmoil and personal challenges. One of the most significant periods when the Middletons stepped up was during Megxit in 2020. As Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's royal departure sent shockwaves through the kingdom, William was left struggling with the burden of additional royal responsibilities and the emotional loss of his brother as a working royal. During this time, Carol and Michael reportedly became a source of comfort for William, she offering him a safe space to share his feelings and decompress. Their calm and supportive presence provided William with the strength he needed to navigate the fallout. Beyond major royal crises, the Middletons have consistently offered William a respite from the rigid formality of royal life. Their family holidays, particularly to the private island of Mustique, have been a refreshing escape for William, who cherishes their relaxed atmosphere. Unlike the protocol-heavy environment of the royal family, the Middletons' easygoing nature allows William to unwind, joke freely, and simply enjoy being himself. Carol, in particular, has played a maternal role in William's life. Having lost his mother, Princess Diana, at a young age, William has found in Carol a nurturing figure who provides him with emotional stability. Her grounded parenting style and unwavering support have also influenced William's approach to raising his own children, fostering a sense of normalcy for Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. As William continues to juggle the demands of royal life, his bond with the Middletons remains a cornerstone of his personal stability. Whether it's during family challenges, public scrutiny, or moments of joy, the Middletons have proven to be a constant source of strength, love, and normalcy for the future king. Carol Middleton as a surrogate mother figure for William. Prince William's relationship with Carol Middleton is more than just a typical bond between a son-in-law and mother-in-law. Over the years, Carol has become a surrogate mother figure to William, offering him the emotional support and stability he has long needed. Losing his mother, Princess Diana, at the age of 15, left a void in William's life, and Carol has quietly filled that role, giving him a sense of normalcy that he often lacked growing up in the royal spotlight. Carol's presence in William's life has been described as a comforting and stabilizing force. Unlike the intense and often emotionally charged relationship William had with Diana, Carol offers him a steady and grounded maternal figure. She doesn't burden him with royal responsibilities or emotional baggage, but instead she provides a safe and welcoming environment where he can simply be himself. According to royal insiders, Carol makes William feel secure and valued for who he is, not for his royal title. Her influence on William has also extended to his parenting style. Inspired by how Carol and Michael Middleton raised Catherine and her siblings, William has adopted a more hands-on, down-to-earth approach with his own children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Carol's playful and active involvement with her grandchildren, whether it's running down hills or playing in the park, has had a profound effect on William. He admires her ability to create a loving and grounded family environment, which he has sought to replicate in his own home. Carol's role became even more significant during moments of royal turmoil, like Megxit and Catherine's health struggles. William has leaned heavily on the Middletons for support during these challenging times, with Carol offering reassurance and guidance. In many ways, her maternal care has helped William navigate the pressures of royal life while maintaining his emotional well-being. In Carol, William has found more than just a mother-in-law. He's found a trusted confidant and a maternal figure who has enriched his life in ways that even the royal family could not. William and the Middletons' role in parenting and family life. Prince William and Catherine Middleton have often been praised for the way they raised their children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Their approach to parenting is refreshingly grounded, and much of this can be credited to the influence of the Middletons. Carol and Michael Middleton, Catherine's parents, have played a huge role in shaping William's perspective on family life and parenting, offering him a sense of normalcy that he didn't experience growing up in the royal family. William has openly admired the way Carol and Michael raised Catherine and her siblings, Pippa and James. The Middletons provided their children with a stable, loving, and supportive upbringing, despite their rise to wealth and public attention. This family dynamic deeply appealed to William, who grew up in a world of royal rules, strict protocols, and public scrutiny. Witnessing the relaxed and close-knit bond within the Middleton household inspired him to bring similar values into his own family life. The Middletons have also been instrumental in helping William and Catherine create a balanced environment for their children. Carol, in particular, has been a constant presence, often stepping in to help with childcare and offering hands-on support. Whether it's running around with her grandchildren at the park or taking them to school during hectic royal schedules, Carol ensures the children experience a life filled with love, fun, and normality. William has taken notice and adopted these principles in his parenting style, ensuring his children have a childhood that feels as normal as possible, despite their royal status. William's close bond with the Middletons has also influenced how he handles family life. Holidays with the Middletons, for example, have become a cherished tradition, providing the family with rare moments of freedom from royal pressures. These relaxed gatherings give William the chance to be a father first, rather than a future king. William and Catherine's parenting style reflects the best of both worlds: the grounded, nurturing approach of the Middletons and the traditions of the royal family. Together, they are raising their children in a way that prepares them for royal life, while ensuring they experience the love and stability every child deserves. William ensures the Middletons are included in royal events. Prince William has always gone out of his way to ensure that Catherine Middleton's family, Carol and Michael Middleton, are not only welcomed, but also included in significant royal events. Despite the rigid traditions of the monarchy, William has made it clear that the Middletons play an important role in his life and that they deserve a place alongside the royal family on special occasions. For instance, the Middletons were prominent guests at major royal events such as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding in 2018, as well as Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in 2022. Even at King Charles III's coronation in May 2023, William was reportedly insistent that the Middletons be properly included. According to royal insiders, William made it his mission to ensure his in-laws had a presence at the historic event, understanding how much it meant to them and to Catherine. This inclusion reflects William's gratitude for the Middletons' unwavering support. Over the years, Carol and Michael have provided him with a sense of stability and normalcy, something he deeply values given the pressures of royal life. Their grounded and supportive nature has played a vital role in William's life, especially during difficult periods, such as Megxit and Catherine's health struggles. By including them in royal events, William is not only honoring their role in his family, but also showing how much he values their presence. The Middletons' involvement in royal life has not always been without controversy. Some members of the royal circle, including King Charles, have reportedly felt overshadowed by the Middletons' close bond with William. However, William has remained steadfast in his commitment to ensuring his in-laws are treated as integral members of the family. Ultimately, William's efforts to include the Middletons in royal events go beyond protocol. It's about recognizing the love and support they've shown him and Catherine over the years. By giving them a seat at the royal table, William is not only breaking tradition, but also redefining what family means within the monarchy. Carol Middleton supported William during Catherine's health struggles. Carol Middleton has long been a pillar of support for her daughter Catherine and son-in-law Prince William, but her role became even more vital during Catherine's health struggles in 2024. When Catherine was diagnosed with a serious illness, it was an emotionally challenging time for the entire family. For William, who was juggling his royal responsibilities while caring for his wife and their 3 children, Carol stepped in to provide the stability and comfort he needed. Carol's presence was a lifeline for both William and Catherine. Known for her hands-on and nurturing approach, Carol took charge of helping the couple's children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, adjust to the changes in their family life. Whether it was taking them to school or creating a sense of normalcy at home, Carol ensured the children had a stable environment despite the difficult circumstances. This allowed William to focus on supporting Catherine while also fulfilling his royal duties. During this time, Carol became an emotional anchor for William. Having lost his mother, Princess Diana, at a young age, William has often leaned on Carol as a trusted maternal figure. Her calm, practical nature and unwavering support gave him the strength to navigate this challenging chapter. According to insiders, Carol offered reassurance and a listening ear, helping William process his emotions and stay strong for his family. Carol's dedication extended beyond the day-to-day responsibilities. She also encouraged William to take moments for himself, reminding him that self-care was essential during such a demanding time. In one instance, Carol and William were even spotted sharing a quiet moment at a local pub, a brief reprieve from the weight of their worries. Carol's role during Catherine's health struggles highlighted the deep bond she shares with William. Her support not only eased the pressure on him but also underscored the unique way the Middleton family complements the royal household. For William, Carol's strength, love, and unwavering presence were a reminder that even in the most difficult times, family is the greatest source of comfort. Middleton's influence on William's down-to-earth nature. Prince William, born into the rigid traditions and privilege of royal life, has often been praised for his approachable and down-to-earth nature. Much of this can be attributed to the influence of his in-laws, Carol and Michael Middleton. The Middletons, who built their family on love, hard work, and grounded values, have had a profound impact on William, helping him embrace a more relatable and modern approach to life and parenting. From the moment William began dating Catherine, he was drawn to the relaxed, close-knit bond of the Middleton family. Unlike the royal environment he grew up in, full of rules, hierarchy, and formality, the Middletons offered an atmosphere of warmth and simplicity. Carol and Michael raised their children with a focus on family values and a sense of normalcy, traits that William deeply admired. Their approach showed him that life didn't need to revolve around duty alone. It could also be about meaningful connections, laughter, and genuine love. This influence became even more apparent after William married Catherine. The Middletons' way of life inspired him to be a more hands-on and present father to Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. Carol, in particular, has been a guiding force in shaping William's parenting style. Her enthusiasm for spending time with her grandchildren, whether it's running through playgrounds or climbing trees, has shown William the joy and importance of creating special moments away from the public eye. The Middletons' influence has also extended to how William balances royal life with personal happiness. They've taught him the value of stepping away from the pressures of being a future king to enjoy simple family traditions, such as holidays and casual dinners. These moments have kept William grounded, allowing him to connect with his family on a deeper level. Carol and Michael's impact on William is clear. They've helped him find a balance between his royal duties and his desire to create a loving, down-to-earth family environment. Their influence has not only shaped his character, but also redefined what it means to be a modern royal. William's continued efforts to protect Catherine and her family. Prince William has always been fiercely protective of Catherine Middleton and her family, ensuring they are shielded from the intense scrutiny that comes with being part of the royal circle. From the early days of their relationship, William made it clear that he would stand by Catherine and her parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, against criticism and prejudice. This steadfast commitment has only grown stronger over the years, as William has worked tirelessly to balance royal life with safeguarding the people he loves most. When Catherine first entered the public eye, her middle-class background became a target for gossip and criticism among certain circles. Carol, in particular, faced harsh classist attacks from the press, and even from some within royal circles. William, however, was quick to defend her, reportedly dismissing the unfair remarks as unnecessary and unkind. He made it clear that Carol and Michael were just as deserving of respect as any titled family, setting the tone for how they would be treated within the royal fold. William's promise to protect Catherine and her family has been evident in how he ensures the Middletons are included in royal life. Whether it's arranging for them to attend major events like Queen Elizabeth II's funeral or King Charles III's coronation, or inviting them to private family gatherings, William has made sure they feel valued and respected. This inclusiveness not only reflects his gratitude for their support, but also ensures Catherine feels the warmth and presence of her own family amid the pressures of royal life. His protective nature was especially evident during Catherine's health challenges in 2024, when she faced a cancer diagnosis. William leaned heavily on Carol and Michael for support, knowing their grounded presence would help his wife and children cope. Carol stepped in to help with daily routines, while William focused on providing emotional strength. Through it all, William has honored his promise to shield Catherine and her family, standing firm against criticism and ensuring their place in his life remains secure. His actions reflect not only his love, but also his deep respect for the role the Middletons play in his and Catherine's happiness.